you're right, lots of criticism on Harry Kane for not scoring goals. Perhaps less focus on the fact that there isn't a lot of creativity around him to give the chances to Harry Kane in order to get him to go on and score. Let's talk about Phil Foden though, because Wayne Rooney wrote a column, exclusive column, Sunday Times yesterday. I always find these really fascinating. I think they're quite revealing as well from someone like Wayne Rooney, the experience that he's had, especially at international level. I think this is quite important. Here's what he wrote. As I've been saying since the build-up to the tournament, Jack Grealish has to start. One thing we have seen watching him and Raheem in the 2 opening games is how differently Manchester City and England play. So now he's talking about Phil Foden and how difficult that makes it for Phil Foden, especially to adapt. City play in the final third. They keep possession there, and Foden is not a dribbler, but a player who plays nice little passes and moves into good positions. At City, the movement of players around him enables it. City will play quick 5-yard passes before a little movement, not a big one, will free up Foden, and he has license to go into the spaces and play as a number 9 at times or a 10 at others. Whereas with England, he's a bit isolated out wide, and when he receives the ball, the possession is slow and there is little happening around him. You're both nodding as I read that out, so obviously resonates.
Well, yeah, I think what it is, and when I'm watching England, is we're very robotic. You know, there isn't that sort of creative freedom to go and get and just sort of play and drift, you know, and like Grealish is a drifter. He goes and he finds spaces, and Foden's the same. He don't want to just stand on the right wing and wait for the ball to come to him, try and cut inside and try and bend one in the top corner. It's all very easy and regimented. And when you watch Man City, they go all over the place. They move around, they drift around, and I just feel like when England are playing, we haven't got that creative freedom. We're very sort of defensive minded. We're very structured. You know, it's 4-2-3-1. Harry Kane drops in, and it's all kind of possession based. Pass it sideways, pass it, go back round the other side. We're not creating enough because players are not taking risks. They're not moving around and trying to open doors and unlock defences by, doing something different.
Is it a risk, Troy? Is it a risk to kind of go, right, let's drop all the kind of regimented play that Gareth tries to implement with the 2 protecting the back 4 as well, and just kind of give up and say, right, let's just go for it? Because if you do that and you get torn apart, he'll get hammered. What's the better option?
The better option is winning games. That's the only better option. No matter what, he's always going to get... People say, should do this, we should do that. That's why we're getting paid. It's an opinion-based sport. I think for me the biggest thing, what I see, and Wayne Rooney's absolutely spot on, it's people who play for different club levels, like we spoke about earlier. Kane, he's used to dropping deep with runners in behind. How do you find a mix of getting all of that to work? And that's the problem with the England manager at the moment. He has to find a solution that works to get our team and the best players that he feels are the best players playing to the best of their ability. I think Jack is suited to this style of football, where it's very much give him the ball, let him make things, because he makes players come towards him. He takes 3 or 4 touches, makes people come towards him, and he's got a very good knack of just getting rid of the ball just before the contact comes, which is either draw or foul, or then he's got 2 or 3 players on him, and then somebody else is free. I agree with him when he says Phil Foden isn't a dribbler. He's very much a 1-2, and he's got sharp movements. I just think we're just missing just that extra little spark in the 10. I love Mason Mount, but if we're going to play with 2 holding midfielders, we don't really need him. We put somebody in there that's absolutely going to be a maverick that's going to lose the ball 4 or 5 times, but that one killer pass he does will win us the game.
Is that a Jack for you? Would you rather have Jack in that role?
I prefer Jack on the left, personally. I do prefer him on the left. But again, decisions. Do you drop Raheem? Do you change it? Do you put Raheem on the right, how they did? But I do think that you've got to get rid of one of the holding midfielders and just back that our back 5, including the holding midfielder, is good enough to slow people down.
Jamie, who would you start? Because like Troy was saying there, it was a big decision actually to take off Phil Foden rather than Raheem Sterling and switch them over and bring Jack on and put him on the left. Is that more the kind of lineup that you'd like to see? Would you have Phil Foden in it? Where would you have Jack?
Foden starts for me. I would play Foden and Mason Mount in front of Rice or Phillips. I think they both performed well. I think we only need one defensive midfielder. I played defensive midfield. I used to hate it when someone was alongside me all the time. I used to say, get out of my space. I don't need you. You know, like when you're a defensive midfielder, you want to get on the ball, you want to dictate it. Declan Rice is good enough to move side to side, to shift side to side, and then you can get attacking players that where he can receive it on the half turn and pass it forward. It's too many sideways balls all the time. It's sideways, and backwards. You want to get it on the half turn and stick it into people like Foden, like Mount, and then you can break lines. Then you got your Grealishes and Sterling or Sancho, and you know, commit teams and commit players. It's all just too pedestrian.
Jamie, you know, with that we're talking about the two holding midfielders. How hard is that when someone gets in your way? Because it feels like we play a game now that is all about not giving the ball away. You know, having a certain amount of pass percentage. Do you feel like Phillips is just kind of doing too much now because he's going, right, I need to get out of the way of Rice, but I need to go there, and he's kind of doing nothing. I thought in the first game he was excellent when we let him get the runs in behind, but in the second game he felt like he was told to stay a bit more, and he got more confused because he was just in Rice's way, as you say. Yeah,
I think when you watch Phillips play for Leeds, he stands in front of that back four and dictates the game, and he'll hit sort of 60, 70 yard passes, he'll hit diags. I watched him against Scotland, and I feel like he was just running away from the ball all the time because he was trying to get out of the space. And, you know, as a defensive midfielder, your job is to dictate the game. That's why I don't think you need two in there. Unless you're playing against a top-class nation where you need, you know, maybe like a dictator on the ball and, you know, like a ball winner. So you have two different types of midfielders. But we've got two very much similar players in Rice and Phillips. I don't think you need both of them. They're doing the same job. And what's happening is Phillips is just, well, the other night against Scotland was just kind of getting out of the way. You don't need that. You want players that are going to make a difference. You don't need to play both.